Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am Kia Simone. This is Kia Simone Speaks. And I am here today to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 2, Episode 15, To Martell the Truth. That's the name of it, To Martell the Truth. This episode kicks off back at the Battle of Pharaohs in the middle of the Will You Be My Daddy blow up with Marcus and Martell going back and forth. Martell is telling Marcus, you say it again, I'm going to drag you. So he decides to walk away and get his kids and leave. That should have did with Miss Wanda, but okay. So we pan over to Tisha, Marsua, Kimmy, Maurice, and Destiny having a group conversation. Tisha's talking about the podcast and how the podcast went, and that surprisingly Kimmy and Destiny seemed to get along well and how cool Destiny was. And then they talk about how Tisha and Kimmy seem to have resolved whatever they had going on. Destiny asked if they settled beef about Miss Wanda and if Miss Wanda is invited to future events and blah, blah, blah. And Marsua, drops the whole, Kimmy sanctioned her. So they go back and forth about whether Kimmy actually sanctioned her. And Kimmy never said the word sanction. Marsua is basically saying that based on what she explained, this is where he derived that from. They kind of go back and forth about the whole thing, and Tisha says, well, she thought it was just okay to invite someone. And Kimmy is telling me, well, it's basic etiquette that it's not okay to just invite whoever you like to somebody else's event. And then Tisha, while Tisha is kind of being petty, Tisha makes a good point. Tisha says, well, based on the fact that she has such a visceral reaction to Miss Wanda and you're saying you don't want her at your events because she's so problematic, then if I have an event at my house, I can't invite you. And so Kimmy makes it about, well, I'm not the issue. It's your mom's issue with the Holtz. Like, okay, Kimmy. Kimmy is dedicated to disliking Miss Wanda. She is dedicated to being mean to Miss Wanda. I don't know if that's because she feels like that's her only outlet in terms of who she can be mean to. I noticed that she kind of tiptoes with Maurice a lot. I'm sure she don't talk to her own mother-in-law like that. And her mother-in-law moved in their house like a week after they got married, right? Interrupted their honeymoon, didn't she? So, I mean, that's not to be mean, but it just is what it is. Like, I'm sure you weren't talking to your mother-in-law like that because you thought she was invasive. Marsua introduces the point that, okay, while she wasn't invited, that doesn't give you a pass to just be disrespectful to an uninvited guest. And Kimmy will not take any accountability. Marsua is basically saying there was more than one infraction, that Tisha made the error by inviting her without your permission, because Wanda wasn't in there. Wanda just showed up at invitation. So Tisha was wrong for inviting her, and you were wrong for how you treated her once she got there. And Kimmy is just not willing to own anything. She's just committed to being disrespectful to Miss Wanda. Everybody is trying to tell her, like, listen, you were mean and it's disrespectful, and it's disrespectful. Kimmy snaps, and she could be right somewhere else. F that, and like, all right, Kimmy. After Kimmy just explodes, Tisha stomps off. She gets her kid. She's leaving. I will say that what I appreciate the most about this is that Marsua stood up for his mother-in-law. While she might be who she is and she has her ways, it's not okay to disrespect her. And I respect that about Marsua. Period. So next we get to Mel at the recording studio. She's recording her new song, and Marcus comes through. Now she says she's recording this song about, everything she's going through with Martell and in her life, and it's a beautiful song and she looks great and all that. So Marcus comes through And she says that Marcus is coming through because he has a great ear for music. Marcus coming through to find out why you sent him on that dummy mission. So, Marcus comes in, oh yeah, do, that's real cute. That sound real good. But hey, where was you at when this Halloween party was going down? Because I went to a party you invited me to and you weren't there. So she gives him this BS excuse about how she needed to step away or she just was going to F somebody up and, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, oh, okay. So she's, I hope you still had a good time. And he's like, no, he did. He didn't. Because you sent the man with a bone in his mouth and a battery in his back. You know how it went down. You done set this man up and put all this stuff in his ear, then told him to go to a party that you know this man is going to be at, that you choose to not show up at. You sent him with that. He tells her how it all goes and goes into the whole, well, all I said to him was, no, you said some out of line stuff to that man. You don't tell a man, you just don't do that. Even if you thought there was a concern, that ain't how you present it. So when he goes into the whole will you be my daddy blow up, Mel justifies it. And Mel says basically, right, rather than getting upset, he should be considering why the kids feel that way. What is he getting? What are they getting from them that they're not getting from you? Remember that. Just hold on to that little nugget. Okay? So in her confessional, Mel says she feels bad for inviting Marcus and not showing up, and she feels bad for flaking on Destiny, but she feels like she made the absolute right decision because she avoided all the drama. Sweetheart, you created the drama. You threw a rock and hid your hand. Okay? You threw a grenade and then you ran. That's what happened. Like, you created that drama. Like you just made such a wise decision. No. You gave him a bone, said, here, let me tell you, put a battery in his back and sent him to run up on Martell because you want Martell handled. Like, girl, bye. This next stop with Wanda and Marsua is the highlight of this episode for me. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is pure comedy. So, Miss Wanda is at Tisha and Marsua's house babysitting her grandkids, while Tisha is off at something for school and Marsua is at work. So she's in there cooking. Them kids, ooh, they got good grandmama plates. Like that, yeah, that's when your grandmama cooking for you, baby. So she's feeding the kids and she feeds everybody, and Marsua coming in. She's cleaning the table. Marsua coming in picking at her. You want to talk to me? So they sit down to talk, and she tells them to bring it on. So Marsua starts to talk to her about the grad dinner, about how she wasn't invited by the host, and Wanda tell him, look here, don't beat around the bush with me. What you want? So he goes into how it was inappropriate for her to go off on Martell at the table and yada yada yada. And Wanda says she don't care. She don't give a damn. She don't know the next time she gonna see Martell, so she left it all on the table. She wasn't even playing with him. She don't care how Kimmy feel about it because Kimmy didn't see that man run up in her face. So since Kimmy didn't see the whole thing, Kimmy opinion does not she's not qualified to give an opinion on it, and she don't want to hear it. So Marsua starts to tell her, well, the issue is you went out of your way to talk to Mel. So Miss Wanda said, well, if God put it on my heart to talk to Mel, said, I wanted to talk to her as a mother figure. God put it on my heart to talk to her as a mother figure. Marsua said, God said, stop. God said, stop, okay? When he told her God said, stop, Wanda said, go. It was it was a drag race. You hear me? She went to dragging. She starts dragging Martell about how he ran up on her with his tight pants wearing self, and he gonna tell her about what she don't know about marriage. And if he had kept playing where she'd have laid him right on out, and he'd have had to leave on a stretcher. Marsua said, well, who was gonna lay him out? She said, who you think? When she hit you with that, she got weapons you don't know about, player. She got a trick in her bag for you. When she hit you with that, she got a trick in her bag for you. And that trick might go bang. You don't want to mess with her. Leave Miss Wanda alone. Like, don't play with her. Marsua is funny to me. Miss Wanda going so hard, she ain't even paying no mind to the trash Marsua over there talking. He telling her, I mean, couldn't have been the first time somebody told you used to be. I mean, you know, and Marsua, he don't mean, what I think I figured out about Marsua is he don't mean no harm. He's just a smart ass. Marsua is just growing on me. That's all I know. So, you know, after he caught it, you know, he checks her about what she's done wrong. Try to get the horse back in the stable. He said, well, listen, I talked to Kimmy too about her part. And, you know, and about that she's accountable for the fact that she was disrespectful to you when you came, and she should not have been. And then Marsua, and she agreed. Now, Marsua, quit the lying. Like, stop. I know you trying to get peace, but stop. Ooh, men, okay? He says, so Marsua's like, you know, I know you got your ways, but I'm not going to let anybody disrespect my mother-in-law. Which I think is absolutely noble. I love it. I think it's so cute. Like, I might talk trash about her, but you ain't going to handle her, okay? So, you know, when he tells her, you know, I'm not going to let anybody disrespect my mother-in-law, Miss Wanda said, hold on, you ain't got to look out. Don't worry about me, baby. You don't ever have to worry about nobody disrespecting me. I want you to step to the side and watch this woman work, okay? Said, Kimmy ain't disrespecting me. Me and Kimmy right there at the same age. Wanda, why are you so shady? Why are you so shady, Miss Wanda? She said, me and Kimmy right there at the same age. You ain't got it. Kimmy ain't disrespecting me. I'm her damn peer. You know, you just step to the side and watch me work, okay? So he said, well, it might not be too much of that because she's going to sanction you. And Miss Wanda was like, well, what is a sanction? Sidebar. A lot of people on social media have been clowning Miss Wanda for not knowing what sanction means. First of all, I will say this. Listen, I like to use my words, okay? You know, I like to go into my index of words and pick a new one. But sanction ain't an everyday word. It's just not, and it's not a big word. It's not but it's just not an everyday word. And what I respect is that Miss Wanda was wise enough and willing to learn enough to ask, what does that mean? Like, some people pretend that they know what things mean, and you look dumb and you stay dumb. Wanda was intelligent enough to ask, what does that mean? That's how you learn. Like, so stop clowning Wanda for not knowing, especially if you had to go Google it. So he tells Wanda about she's sanctioned, explains what the sanction means, and Wanda go off some more. So now, you know, he's trying to explain that when you decide that you're just going to go off on people, it has an impact on our relationships within our friend group. Because Wanda, at this point, she don't give a damn about nothing. She don't care about nothing. So her whole thing, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. So he's telling her, well, your daughter was just upstairs crying about, well, she ain't cried to me. She probably crying because she tired of y'all. She ain't cried to me. So they get to going back and forth. It's just, when I tell you I had to watch this scene 10 times because I fell out laughing. Oh my God. Marcel tries to explain to Miss Wanda how she comes across to people using this glass of water analogy. So he's telling her how he thinks she's really a good person. And he enjoys her for the most part. And, and she's saying, I am. And he's saying, it's like if you have a glass of fresh water, and it's 90% fresh water. And, and Miss Wanda stroking her ponytail and, tell me more. Carry on. And he said, but then you got 10% pee. Miss Wanda, so what you trying to say? It's like, that 10% pee makes it just intolerable. Just makes it a little intolerable. Okay? That's Wanda coming for his ass. Because now you playing with me. So she said, oh, so you think you going to treat me like you treat Tisha. You wouldn't treat me like you treat Tisha because I ain't from the other side of the tracks. Okay? All right? I can handle you. And he said, so you think I talk down to Tisha? Yeah, that's why I dislike your ass. He says, you just sitting here just sucking up all my air. No. I'm here babysitting your kids. I'm not here sucking up your air and eating your food. I'm here babysitting your kids, which you could and should be doing, but I'm here doing it. And keep in mind, I'm only here for my grandkids. Oh, Miss Wanda read them all. Miss Wanda read them all. Okay? Miss Wanda said, I ain't here for you. I ain't here for them. I ain't here for nobody but those kids. Don't you ever forget it. She gonna stomp off. He gonna tell Miss Wanda she thicker than a snicker. Marcel is hell on wheels. Do you hear me? Marcel is hilarious. Oh my God. So moving on to the next stop, which is the guys are meeting at like a camp supply store to get things for their camping trip. And Kimmy comes along to monitor Maurice's spending. Yeah, this is looking real mom-ish. It's a little bit controlling, a little bit non-trusting, a little bit just get separate accounts. Now, the flip side is that this might have been like a production setup to give Martell an opportunity to apologize to her for what happened. So the guys and Kimmy get there. They in there wanting to do what guys do, kick it and talk, and Kimmy turns into like a mom and she's rushing them, and it's like, Kimmy, chill out, please. Martell pulls her to the side and apologizes to her for blowing up on Miss Wanda at the grad dinner. And I just find it very interesting that Kimmy had such understanding for Martell. Like, there was no accountability. There was no concern for the fact that, because Wanda and Mel had a conversation over there. There is no concern, address, or accountability to the fact that he jumped up from this table and ran up in this woman's face. She's just, oh, well, no, that's what I was trying to avoid. Like, I'm real side-eyeing with Kimmy right now. So they chat about him venting to the guys versus social media and, what Marcus had to say and what Marcus had to say at the voter event. And Kimmy suggests that, the divorce is just difficult on the kids. It's difficult on the friends. It's difficult on everybody. Moving on. So next stop is the guys are arriving at the campsite, and they look like little G.I. Joes. Siddharth gets out geared up like Indiana Jones. Maurice pulls up in the G-Wagon and the turtleneck like G.I. Joe fashion. Martell pulls up in the damn dually like he gonna have to drag trucks out the woods. You know, they start to gather all their little equipment. And Martell and Siddharth start to have a conversation about what's going on with the divorce and the kids and how it's affecting the kids. And Siddharth talks about the impact of divorce on children from the perspective of a child in that situation. He gives him some, really, really good advice, in my opinion, really good advice. Gives him signs to look out for in the behavior of his kids. Lets him know, things that you may not be thinking about as a parent that definitely are very present for the child. It was a really, really good conversation to see them have. Then we switch over to Mel with the kids at the pumpkin patch. She gets there and says it's bittersweet, because this is typically something she and Martell would do together. But Ima is going to be joining her later on, and she'll, get to enjoy her kids. So then we flip back to the campsite because we basically go back and forth between Mel and the kids at the pumpkin patch and Martell and the guys at the campsite. So back at the campsite, they're waiting on Marsua. Maurice calls Marsua only to find out that Marsua has been in a pretty bad car accident. So he doesn't make it to the campsite, but he's okay. Martell knocks over his damn popcorn and it's Marsua's fault even though Marsua ain't there. Just that damn Martell ain't gonna be accountable for nothing. Nothing. Call him Shaggy. And it just trips me out how, listening to Martell in the confessional and watching him even at the campsite on the phone, it just trips me out to see him try to be boys with Marsua like nothing ever and it just seems kind of uncomfortable and it seems kind of unresolved and you trying to be friends and I don't know that Marsua is really feeling you. It just felt awkward. Back at the pumpkin patch, Mel and the kids are, they're running foot races. They're collecting pumpkins and look like they took a wagon ride or something. I mean, it was cute, a lot of cute little fun stuff. I love stuff like that personally. I think it's so cute. I love it. So while they're, getting settled for their night, the guys are back at the campsite setting up fires and things like that. Well, back at the pumpkin patch, Mel and the kids are sitting down to wind up their night and Ima shows up. Now, it's something about Ima. It's just something about Ima. And I'm going to just leave it at that. It's just something about Ima that just... But and don't get me wrong, she had a really good, productive conversation with the kids. This is something Mel asked her to initiate with her kids. And Mel explains that she met Ima through doing this play that Ima wrote about infidelity. I think that play was based on Mel all along. And Mel bought it hook, line, and sinker. I really think this is, I think she kind of on some sideways stuff. But that's just me. So Ima sits down and she starts talking to the kids. Boss Baby says she wanted to go on some attraction that apparently was not open at the time. And, she says, I'm so sorry to hear that. I know that must be upsetting. And she says, that's Elijah's favorite part too. Do those kids know Elijah? That oldest girl, who the hell is Elijah? Lady, who's Elijah? She's like, oh, that's my son. He lives with his dad. Martell Jr. said, why he don't live with you? Them kids are funny. Those kids are hilarious. Oh my God, those kids are hilarious. So why he ain't living with you? So she explains that they went through a divorce, and the and Boss Baby says, so basically y'all go back and forth and back and forth. And these kids, I want to say, Mel and Martell have some beautiful, articulate, intelligent children. They are just beautiful kids. And to listen to them talk and express their thoughts and their feelings and be so full of personality, I think they're beautiful kids. I just do. I just do. I'm gonna ask the kids how they feel about going back and forth, and Boss Baby, she grunt. I'm sick of these grown people and their problems. Okay, I wish they'd just get back together and make my life easier. And baby Martell said, he's like, I want to stay with Mel. That baby love his mama. That's so cute. And so then she asked baby girl who she would like to stay with. And she says, Ice Cream Boy, meaning her dad. And so she says, I would like to stay with my daddy. And you can see Mel have a little bit of a reaction to it, personal, nothing that she projected to her daughter, but you can see that felt a way. So let's go back to when Marcus was running up on Martell, telling Martell that your kids prefer for somebody else to be their daddy. They want to be with us. They don't even want to be with you because they're happier with us. Now, Mel said he should be asking, well, why is that? Because there's probably some, and Martell hit it on the head. Martell knows his kids. Martell hit it on the head. Martell said, look, he probably giving them ice cream and stuff. Literally, the baby says, I like staying with my daddy because he gives me Rocky Road ice cream with cookies in it. Now, how did that feel, Mel? And the baby's entitled to feel how she feels, but if it made you feel a way to hear that from her, how do you think it made Martell feel? Like, y'all have to draw the line somewhere. There has to be a point of adulthood somewhere. But I just thought it was very funny how the way the episode started, it wasn't even next episode before you hear your kids saying, well, I'd rather be with, I'd like to be with my daddy. That wasn't a good feeling. That's why you have to be careful about using your children's sentiments as a weapon. You got to be real careful about weaponizing their desires against the other parent. Because them wanting to hang out at the uncle's house who has a pool and it's so much fun doesn't mean they don't love their daddy. Doesn't mean their daddy is not doing right by them. Just like baby girl wanting to live with her daddy doesn't mean that Mel is not doing right by her as a mom. So, that's why I said don't play with those kids like that. Don't even play with don't throw their sentiments around like that. Don't weaponize that. So they talk about the kids' exposure to their parents' interactions and their parents' feelings. And Martell talks about, not liking to see his mom sad and not liking it when his dad acts like a crazy man. And how, he likes to see his mom happy and excited and they just talk about loving on their mama and how he hugs his mama when she's sad. And the baby is, well, if she's crying, you should give her a kiss. And it's just, It's a touching scene. It's touching. And maybe it's touching to me because I was my mom's Mariah. I don't know why I'm about to cry. Tried to gather myself. So it was a very touching scene, and I think it was so touching to me because I am the child of a single parent, and I was with my mom going through her divorce. I was my mom's Mariah. You know, I am the oldest child of a single parent, and you know, you remember being a kid and how loving your mom was just your whole life, you know? And when adults go through their things, it puts kids into these maturation processes where it forces them to mature emotionally. And they almost become little caregivers, you know? And it was just beautiful. It was really beautiful to see. And regardless of how I feel about some of the things Mel does or her personality or, you know, how she is as a person, what ways she has, regardless of how I feel about that, she is a mother. And she's a mother going through it. And to me, there is nothing more beautiful than to see this mother surrounded by the love of her children. You know, my mom would always say that, you know, if I ever had to wonder if I had love, all I had to do was look around me. And it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful to watch. That's it. Back at the campsite, the guys are sitting around the fire talking. Maurice is talking about Kimmy being an essential worker during the pandemic and how, you know, he basically sees the error in his pursuit to try to get her to retire. Martell, isn't he, or does Maurice say everything like it's a political speech? Like, I can see how wrong I was, you know. Nursing, it's a passion, it's calling. Like, it always sounds like a political ad. Like, okay. Mail comes up, you know, because he says something about, Martell makes a comment about my wife, and Siddharth's like, yeah, I like when you call her your wife. And he's saying how, well, you know, the divorce isn't final. And they ask him, you know, about his state of mind in terms of wishing it would be different, thinking, does he think it could be different? What should he have done different? He don't think he should have done anything different. He was like, other than the infidelity. Then they get into a conversation of his complaint, that his issue was that he was not getting what he needed at home. While that is not a license to cheat, it definitely should be considered that both parties in a marriage have needs. And everybody's needs need to be, at least we need to be aiming to meet them. If we're not even willing to aim, then maybe we should reconsider the union, right? Because nobody wants to be tied up in something where all I do is give and I don't get. Nobody wants to be locked up in a one-sided relationship, right? And so the men have a very candid conversation about what their needs are in a relationship and how they don't know how they would respond to not having their sexual needs met. That, you know, if I'm telling my wife that this is what I need and my wife is saying, well, I just ain't gonna do that, well, what am I to do? Well, the answer is not to cheat, but you do have to consider at that point, do I need to just maybe move on? Because cheating isn't that, like, it's not, you can't just, well, I'm not getting what I want, so you giving me 80%, I'm going to get my 20% over here. Don't really work like that. You got to decide, do I want to really just deal with what I'm not getting? Or is what I'm not getting a deal breaker? But I do think the conversation the guys are having is one people as partners need to consider. That you do need to consider the needs of your partner. Otherwise, you think they're just your servant. So they ask if Martell would reconsider the divorce. And his thing is, he thinks there's been too much done on both sides. And he does not think Melody would be willing to reconsider it. Martell is speaking from a place of pride. I believe Martell is absolutely willing to reconsider the divorce. I believe that's the desire of his heart, honestly. I believe that if Mel would have him, he would run back. Because now he can see the error of his ways. He goes into explaining that he wasn't getting what he needed at home. And so he figured he would go out and supplement that with somebody else. But he didn't necessarily realize that he was destroying his family. He thought he was just getting a supplement. Martell does get around to saying that if he could create a different outcome, he would. And that he thinks about it every day and, that it hurts. And I find it interesting that Maurice made the comment, that, and it doesn't go away. So, now me being me, and just tell you something about me. I'm a read between the lines kind of person. Me being me, I'm like, does that mean he misses his family? Does he regret breaking up his family? Is that what he's saying? It was one of those, When Mari said that doesn't go away, it was like, oh, wow. Wonder if, it created that, wonder if he feels that way about, his first family. So then, Sadark asked the $1 million question. Sadark says, we've been hearing these rumors about, a pregnancy. And, let me tell you, Sadark is that friend that, Sadark low-key messy. Sadark is like, I had your back, because I'm like, I don't believe this, because he would have told me. But so, is this true? So, Sadark asked him about the pregnancy rumors. Martell goes straight into Mel put that out there. That what happened was he found out Mel was cheating on him. So he decided to tell Mel that the side chick was pregnant. And Mel put it out there. He said that he has not, up until this point, confided in anyone about it. But that, yes, she is pregnant. Maurice asked, but is she pregnant with your child? And Martell said, based on the timeline, I believe so. Insert. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. Martell told him he need a drink, and I need a damn drink too. So there's, I guess, the confirmation everyone has been looking for. Martell has been all over the blogs for months being asked about it. The side chick has been all over the blogs being asked about it. And no one would confirm or deny. And maybe this was the big bang they were waiting on. Maybe they wanted to drop it on the show. But Martell has officially confirmed that she was pregnant. She did give birth to a baby, I believe, in December. And he believes at least at this time, that said baby is his. So we'll see how that all turns out. Yeah, so now I'm officially all caught up on all the episodes of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you've made it all the way to the end of this recap, I want to thank you for listening to me, for once again letting me get it off my chest. Please, if you like the video. If you got something to say, please comment and subscribe so you can get, when I do more videos. Thanks for listening. Bye.